We are no longer on the public, dusty road of the Triumphal Entry, deafened by the hollow, misunderstood hosannas of a fickle crowd. The scene has changed. The camera has zoomed in, from the panoramic, sun-drenched chaos of the city streets to the intimate, candlelit shadows of a single, borrowed room. We are in an upper room, a guest chamber, large, furnished, and made ready. The location itself speaks of quiet, of intimacy, of a deliberate retreat from the world. Outside these walls, the city of Jerusalem is a seething cauldron of plots and counterplots, a tinderbox of religious fury and political panic. The man at the center of this meal, Jesus of Nazareth, is now the most wanted man in Judea. The chief priests and scribes, having witnessed their authority challenged in the temple and their power base threatened by his undeniable miracles, have made their decision. He must die. The betrayer, Judas, has already met with them, has agreed upon the price, and is now, even as this meal begins, simply waiting for the opportune moment, the signal, to complete his diabolical transaction. The air in this room is impossibly thick. It is an atmosphere of profound, loving, and sorrowful finality. This is not just a meal. This is the meal. It is a meal he has orchestrated, sending disciples on a specific, almost cryptic errand to find a man bearing a pitcher of water, a sign that would lead them to this precise, prepared place. He has come here with intention, with a resolute, sovereign purpose. He is not a victim being cornered. He is a priest, preparing his own sacrifice. He is a king, holding his final court. He is a groom, sharing a final, intimate supper with his beloved, albeit confused, bride. Every action, every word, every gesture in this room tonight will be weighted with the gravity of eternity, because this is the night that all of history has been bending towards. This is the night the old world ends, and the new one, a world sealed in blood and mystery, begins to understand the revolution that is about to happen in this room. We must first spend 1,000 words on the meal they are meant to be eating. This is the Passover. For 15 centuries, this meal was the single, foundational, identity-forming event for the people of Israel. It was not just a tradition, it was their story. It was the annual, mandatory reliving of their birth as a nation. Every element on the table was a script, a tangible prop in a divine drama. The matzah, the unleavened bread, was the bread of affliction, the flat, cracker-like bread of haste, baked by their ancestors who had no time to let it rise, for they were fleeing the bondage of Egypt. It was the taste of slavery and sudden liberation. The maror, the bitter herbs, was a physical taste of that slavery, the acrid, tear-inducing bitterness of bricks without straw, of lives lived under the lash. The charoset, a sweet paste of fruits and nuts, was a reminder of the mortar they used, but also of the sweetness of the redemption that God would bring. And at the absolute center of it all was the lamb, a male lamb, unblemished, a lamb of the first year, selected, inspected, and then slain. Its blood was not eaten, but was, in that first primal Passover, painted on the doorposts and the lintel of every Hebrew house. It was a sign for the angel of death, the great, final plague of God upon a hard-hearted Egypt. And the promise was that when the angel saw the blood, he would pass over that house. The blood of the innocent, perfect lamb was the ransom for the firstborn son inside. This meal was, at its core, a memorial of redemption by substitutionary blood. It was a celebration of deliverance from bondage and shelter from judgment. This is the story, the sacred, ancient script that Jesus and his disciples have gathered to obey. They are here to remember what God did. But Jesus is here to do something far more radical. He is here to fulfill it, to terminate it, and to replace it with himself. His intention is made clear in his opening words, as recorded by Luke. He looks at these men, his closest friends, and says, "I have earnestly desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer." Let's parse the profound, layered meaning of that statement. I have earnestly desired. The Greek is a passionate, forceful phrase, epithymia epithymisa, a desire I have desired. This is not a casual wish. This is the deep, focused, driving passion of his entire ministry.
Why?
Why this meal, this night? Because this is the transition. This is the changing of the guard for all of human salvation. This is the last true Passover that will ever be eaten under the Old Covenant, and it is the first Lord's Supper that will ever be eaten, in anticipation of the new. It is the moment where the shadow gives way to the substance. For 3 years he has been the substance, walking among people who only understood the shadows. Now he will explicitly connect them. He will take the shadows, the bread, the cup, the lamb, and he will pull them onto himself, declaring, "This is me. I am the reality these things have only ever pointed to." And his desire is tied to his suffering. Before I suffer. He does not see the suffering as an interruption of his work. He sees it as the climax. The meal is the preface to the sacrifice. It is the explanation of what is about to happen. He is essentially saying, I have desperately wanted to sit here with you to explain what my death is all about before it actually happens. He wants them to understand. He wants them to have the key to interpret the cross. The cross is not a tragedy. It is a Passover. It is the ultimate deliverance. It is the ultimate sacrifice. He is, in this meal, giving them the meaning of the suffering that is just hours away. And what is the mindset of the disciples as their Lord prepares to unpack this final, glorious mystery? They are arguing. The text tells us, with devastating simplicity, a dispute also arose among them as to which of them should be considered the greatest. This is almost too painful to believe. It is the night before his crucifixion. The sufferer he just spoke of is hanging in the air. The shadow of the cross is falling over the table. And they are arguing about rank. They are bickering about who will be chief of staff in the new political administration. This reveals, with horrifying clarity, that after 3 years, after all the sermons, all the miracles, even after the triumphal entry where he rejected the political kingdom by riding a donkey, they still do not get it. They are completely blind. Their hearts are still set on the earthly kingdom of our father David that the crowd had shouted about. They are in the upper room, but their minds are in a throne room. They are looking at the Son of God, and they are seeing a political ladder. This argument is the dark, selfish, pride-filled backdrop against which Jesus will now perform his most profound act of physical teaching. Their argument is all about who will be served. They are all, in their hearts, climbing the warhorse of human pride. And Jesus, in response, will stand up, take a towel, and give them the final, unforgettable, and definitive answer. He will show them, in an act of staggering, scandalous humility, what true greatness in his kingdom actually looks like. The argument for greatness will be answered by the king, on his knees, with a basin of water, as he rises from supper. The text is deliberate. He is the host. He is the Lord. He rises. He lays aside his outer garments. This is a deliberate, symbolic act. He is stripping himself of his dignity, his status as Rabbi and Lord. He is making himself vulnerable, accessible. Then he takes a towel and girds himself, wrapping it around his waist. He is deliberately taking on the form of a servant, the uniform of the slave. He pours water into a basin. And then, he begins to wash the disciples' feet. We must stop here. We must understand the scandal of this. In first-century culture, washing a guest's feet was the lowest job. It was a task so menial, so demeaning, that a Jewish slave could not be compelled to do it. It was the job reserved for the lowest of the low, the Gentile slave, the unperson of the household. The roads were dirt, or cobblestone at best. They were shared with animals. The sandals were open. The feet were caked in a vile mixture of dust, mud, and animal filth. And this is the task that the one they call Lord, the one who calmed the sea, the one who raised Lazarus from the dead, chooses to do. He, the creator of the cosmos, is kneeling on the floor, like a slave, washing the filth from the feet of his creation. This is the king on the donkey, taken to its absolute, logical, and intimate conclusion. He is physically performing the upside-down kingdom. He is not just teaching humility, he is embodying it. He is washing all their feet. Peter's feet, John's feet, And, almost impossibly, he kneels and washes the feet of Judas Iscariot. He washes the very feet that will, in just a few hours, walk to the chief priests to betray him. This is a love, a humility, so profound it is almost terrifying. This act of profound humility immediately collides with the bedrock of human pride, personified in Simon Peter. As Jesus moves down the line, basin in hand, he comes to Peter. And Peter, impulsive, passionate, and constitutionally incapable of just receiving, recoils. "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" It is a question of pure, scandalized disbelief. This is wrong. This is an inversion of the proper order. I should be washing your feet. You are the Lord, I am the servant. Peter's objection does not come from humility, it comes from pride. It is the pride that cannot bear to be indebted. It is the pride that wants to earn its way. Peter is, in this moment, the voice of all human religion, which is built on the idea that we must do something for God. He cannot comprehend the idea of a God who kneels and does something for us. He is rejecting the scandal of grace. He is refusing to be served by God. And so, he makes his defiant, absolute declaration, "You shall never wash my feet." He is, in this moment, rejecting the very upside-down kingdom his Lord is trying to inaugurate. He is, in his own, well-intentioned, prideful way, just as blind as he was when he argued about who is the greatest. He wants a Lord to admire, to serve on his own terms, not a Savior to be cleansed by. Jesus' response to Peter is one of the most critical and most misunderstood theological statements in the narrative. First, he is gentle. "What I am doing you do not understand now, but you will know after this." He is telling Peter and all of them, this act is a prophecy. It's a sign, just like the triumphal entry. You can't grasp its full meaning yet. But after the cross, after the resurrection, when you see the full humiliation I am about to embrace, then this will make sense. This is a prelude to the cross. This is the meaning of the cross in a parable. But Peter, in his stubbornness, still refuses. "You shall never wash my feet." And at this point, Jesus' response becomes sharp, definitive, and absolute. "If I do not wash you, you have no part with me." This is the moment the entire scene pivots. This is no longer just a lesson in humility. It has become a symbol of salvation. Jesus has just taken the act of washing their physical filth and made it the sacrament of washing their spiritual filth. He is saying, "Peter, this isn't about your comfort. This isn't about my dignity. This is about your soul. Unless you are willing to let me cleanse you, to let me do for you what you cannot do for yourself, to let me be your Savior, then you have no part with me. You cannot be in my kingdom." He is forcing Peter to confront the core of the gospel. We cannot save ourselves. We must be washed. We must receive the grace. And it is a grace that always feels scandalous, that always involves the king kneeling at our filthy feet. Peter, being Peter, immediately swings from one extreme to the other. His pride of rejection instantly becomes a pride of overzealousness. "Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head. If a little washing is good, then a lot of washing must be better." He still doesn't get it. He still thinks in human terms, in terms of quantity and effort. He has moved from, "I will not let you serve me," to, "Okay, serve me, but do it my way more." He is still trying to manage his own salvation. And Jesus, with infinite patience, has to correct him again. Jesus said to him, "He who is bathed needs only to wash his feet, but is completely clean. And you are clean, but not all of you." This is a beautiful, precise, and crucial distinction. The bathed man, the one who has had a full bath Lulaminos, is already clean. This is the one-time act of justification, the bath of regeneration, the moment we are made clean by faith in him. We are completely clean in our standing before God. But, he says, the bathed man, as he walks through the world, still gets his feet dirty. He needs only to wash his feet, Niptian. This is the daily act of sanctification. It is the ongoing cleansing from the daily defilement of our sin. Jesus is teaching Peter, and us, that salvation is both a finished act, we are bathed, completely clean and an ongoing process. We still need our feet washed. We don't need to be resaved every time we sin. But we do need to continually come back to our kneeling Lord, confess our sin, and allow Him to wash the dust of the world from our feet, restoring our fellowship with Him. Having finished this profound theological drama with Peter, and having washed all their feet, he puts his garments back on. He sits down again. He reascends his throne as Rabbi and Lord. The act is over. The lesson is now made explicit. "Do you know what I have done to you?" he asks. They are silent. They are stunned. They are still trying to process the sheer scandal of it all. "You call me teacher and Lord, and you say well, for so I am." He does not deny his authority, he affirms it. This is crucial. He is not saying, "I am not your Lord." He is saying, "I am your Lord, and because I am your Lord, this is what I do." He is redefining lordship. He is redefining authority. "If I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example, that you should do as I have done to you." This is the thunderous, definitive answer to their pathetic, childish argument about who is the greatest. He has just given them the constitution of his upside-down kingdom. In his kingdom, authority is not the power to command, it is the strength to serve. Greatness is not measured by how many people wash your feet, it is measured by how many people's feet you are willing to wash. He has just modeled the love that will be the badge of his new covenant. He is saying, this is what greatness looks like. It looks like a towel. It looks like a basin. It looks like me on my knees. But even in this moment of profound, divine love, the shadow of human depravity looms. He has just washed all their feet. He has just declared them clean. But then he makes the chilling exception. But not all of you. He knew who would betray him. And as he looks at their faces, these men he has loved, taught, and now washed, the reality of the betrayal surfaces in his spirit. He is troubled in spirit. This is the same word used at Lazarus' tomb. It is an agitation, a groan of deep sorrow and righteous anger. The intimacy of the foot washing has been violated by the presence of the traitor. And he makes it plain. Most assuredly, I say to you, one of you will betray me. The room explodes in confusion. This is incomprehensible. They look at each other. Is it I? Lord, is it I? They are, for a moment, all thrown into self-doubt, which is perhaps a healthier place to be than their earlier argument about greatness. John, the beloved disciple, is reclining on Jesus' bosom, a position of intimate friendship. Peter, true to form, signals to John, ask him who it is. He doesn't dare ask himself. And John, leaning back, whispers the question. Jesus' answer is not a public shout. It is an intimate, final, and devastating sign. It is he to whom I shall give a piece of bread when I have dipped it. And he dips the sop, a gesture of honor from a host to a guest, and gives it to Judas Iscariot. He is, to the very last second, offering a sign of friendship to his enemy. He is giving Judas one last chance to turn back. He is loving his betrayer, even as he identifies him. The giving of the sop is the final, intimate act. Judas takes it. He eats it. He accepts the honor from the man he is about to sell. And in that moment, the text tells us, Satan entered him. The decision is final. The choice is made. He has eaten with him, the ultimate covenant of peace, and in his heart, he has lifted up his heel against him. He has definitively chosen the kingdom of darkness while sitting at the table of the King of Light. And Jesus, his heart now set on the suffering to come, speaks the words that release the spring of his own passion. What you are about to do, do quickly. This is not a request. It is a command. It is the Lord of history, in complete sovereign control, dismissing his betrayer to go and accomplish the very act that will save the world. The others in the room, in their final, tragic display of blindness, still don't get it. They think Jesus is sending Judas, the treasurer, out to buy what they need for the feast, or to give something to the poor. They are still thinking of commerce and charity. They have no idea that their Lord has just commissioned his own murder. And Judas went out immediately, and it was night. He leaves the candlelit light of the upper room, the light of the world, and walks out into the literal and spiritual darkness. The shadow is now gone. The light remains. And now, with the traitor expelled, Jesus can finally institute the covenant with his true family. With Judas gone, the atmosphere changes. The trouble in his spirit is resolved into a new glory. Now, he says, the Son of Man is glorified, and God is glorified in him. This is a stunning perspective. He has just sent his betrayer on his way to kill him, and he calls this glory. He is once again defining the cross. The cross is not shame, it is glory. It is the place where the love of God, the holiness of God, the justice of God, and the mercy of God will all be perfectly displayed. It is his throne. It is his coronation. And then he turns to them, and his voice softens. Little children. He has never called them this before. It is a term of profound, tender, and almost paternal love. He is the father about to leave his little children alone in a dark world. A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another. This is the testament of the new covenant.
What is new about it?
The old covenant said, love your neighbor as yourself. That was the standard. But Jesus gives a new standard. As I have loved you, that you also love one another. And how has he just loved them? He has kneeled at their feet. He has washed their filth. He has endured their pride. He has loved his betrayer. And he is about to die for them. That is the new standard. The new love is not a love of reciprocity. It is a love of sacrifice. It is a foot-washing, cross-bearing love. This is the new law that Jeremiah prophesied would be written on their hearts. And this love, he says, is to be their badge. It is their identity. By this all will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. He does not say, by your correct doctrine. He does not say, by your moral purity. He does not say, by your miraculous gifts. All those things have their place. But the one, non-negotiable, visible, identifying mark of a citizen of his upside-down kingdom is love. A love that serves. A love that forgives. A love that kneels. A love that washes the feet of its brothers and its enemies. This is the evidence that they have partaken of his covenant. This is the fruit that proves they are connected to the vine. This is the living sermon that will preach the gospel to a world that runs on the war horse of power, pride, and self. The triumphal entry was a public demonstration of the king's humility. The foot washing was an intimate demonstration. This commandment is the internalization of that humility, making it the very lifeblood of the new community he is building. The new covenant is not just a legal transaction. It is a relational reality, and its only currency is love. It is at this point, with a new covenant of love established, that he finally takes the Passover itself and redefines it forever. He is now sitting with his true covenant family. He takes the matzah, the unleavened bread, the bread of affliction. The Haggadah, the ancient script, demanded that the host lift this bread and say, "This is the bread of affliction which our fathers ate in the land of Egypt." It was a memorial of a past deliverance. But Jesus, the Lord of history, breaks the script. He takes the bread, he gives thanks for it, he blesses it, he breaks it, and he gives it to them. And as he gives it, he says the words that change the world. "Take, eat. This is my body." This simple, flat, cracker-like bread is me. He is identifying himself, not with the lamb, yet, but with the bread that sustains life. He is the true bread from heaven, the true manna, the true sustenance. And then he adds the crucial, sacrificial element, which is given for you. Or, as Paul's account states, which is broken for you. He is taking the bread and infusing it with the meaning of the sacrifice. He is explicitly connecting this meal to his death. He is saying, "My body is about to be broken on a cross, given as a sacrifice for you so that you can be delivered." He is the bread of life, broken to give life to the world. And then he gives the command that institutes the new memorial. Do this in remembrance of me. This is the revolutionary heart of the meal. For 1,500 years, they had done this in remembrance of Egypt. They had looked backward to a historical deliverance from a political bondage. And in this one sentence, Jesus pivots all of human worship forward and centers it on himself. He replaces the Exodus. He replaces Egypt. He replaces Moses. He says, from now on, when you gather, you will not remember that deliverance. You will remember this one. You will not remember the shadow. You will remember me, the substance. He is sealing the new covenant by establishing its memorial feast. He is claiming that his death, his suffering, is the new, true, and final Exodus. It is the ultimate deliverance, not from a human pharaoh, but from the cosmic bondage of sin and death. This is a claim of staggering, absolute divinity. He is not just a prophet in the story. He is the story. He is not just celebrating the Passover. He is terminating it and replacing it with himself. I am the same way. After supper, he took the cup. This was not just a cup. In the Seder, there were 4 cups, each with a specific name. This was most likely the 3rd cup, the cup of redemption, the cup that celebrated the blood of the Lamb on the doorposts, the very blood that had ransomed them. It was the climax of the meal, the celebration of the covenant itself, sealed in the blood of the Lamb. And Jesus, taking this cup, the cup of redemption, once again hijacks its meaning. He says, "Drink from it, all of you, for this is my blood." This would have horrified them. To drink blood was the ultimate taboo, a violation of the deepest laws of God. But he is not speaking literally. He is speaking sacramentally. He is saying, "This wine represents my blood." The old redemption was sealed by the blood of a lamb, painted on a door. The new redemption is sealed by my blood, poured out on a cross. He is explicitly identifying himself as the true, final, perfect Passover lamb. The substance has come. The shadows are now fulfilled. And then he defines what this cup is. This cup is the new covenant in my blood. This is the only time in his ministry he uses this phrase. He is explicitly ending the old covenant, the one given to Moses on Mount Sinai, the one sealed with the blood of bulls and goats, the covenant of law written on stone, and he is inaugurating the new covenant, the one prophesied by Jeremiah, where God says, "I will put my law in their minds and write it on their hearts, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people, for I will forgive their iniquity, and their sin I will remember no more." And how is this new, better covenant, this covenant of forgiveness and relationship, to be ratified? How is it sealed? He tells them, "In my blood." Just as the old covenant was sealed with the blood of animals, the new covenant is sealed with the blood of the Son of God. This is a blood covenant, the most sacred, binding, and unbreakable promise in the ancient world. And the price of this covenant, the cost of this forgiveness of sins, is his own life. He is, in this moment, the high priest inaugurating the covenant. He is the sacrifice, the lamb, whose blood seals the covenant. And he is the Lord, who is offering the covenant. It is all him. He makes the purpose of this blood explicit, which is shed for many for the remission or forgiveness of sins. This is the gospel in a single phrase. The old covenant, with its endless animal sacrifices, could only cover sin, postpone judgment. It was a reminder of sin. But his blood, the blood of the new covenant, achieves the remission of sins. It removes them. It forgives them. It pays the debt in full. It satisfies the perfect, holy justice of God. This is substitutionary atonement, taught by the substitute himself. He is saying, "I am about to pour out my life as a payment to purchase the forgiveness of all who will believe in me." He is the Lamb. He is the ransom. He is the propitiation. He is the scapegoat. All the imagery of the old, sacrificial system, which they had just been celebrating in the Passover, he now gathers up and fulfills in his own person. He is the final sacrifice. After his suffering, There will be no more need for the blood of bulls or lambs. The one, perfect, and final sacrifice will have been made. The new covenant will be ratified. The den of thieves in the temple, with its business of selling animals, is not just cleansed. It is now, by this one statement, rendered obsolete. And then, having given them the new covenant, he begins to explain how they are to live in it. And this begins the great upper room discourse. He has just told them he is leaving. He has told them one of them is a betrayer. He has just crushed Peter with a prophecy. Most assuredly, I say to you, the rooster shall not crow till you have denied me 3 times. Their entire world, their entire faith, their entire hope is collapsing. They are terrified. They are confused. They are in despair. And it is into this darkness, this fear, this confusion, that he speaks the most comforting words in all of Scripture. Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. This is not a gentle suggestion. It is a divine command. And notice the basis of the command. Believe in me. He is claiming absolute equality with God the Father. He is saying, the same faith you place in God, who you cannot see, place that same faith in me, who you can see. I am your anchor. I am your peace. He is telling them that faith in his person is the only antidote to a troubled heart in a collapsing world. Their troubled hearts are because he is leaving. They're going to be alone. So he comforts them with a promise. In my Father's house are many mansions or dwelling places. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. He is reframing his departure. He is not abandoning them. He is going ahead as their pioneer, their forerunner. He is going to prepare a place for them in the very presence of God. And then, the ultimate promise. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also. This is the promise of his second coming. This is the hope of the reunion. He is telling them that this separation, which is about to tear their hearts out, is temporary. He is coming back. And his entire purpose is fellowship. That where I am, there you may be also. This is the goal of the new covenant. Not just forgiveness of sins, but eternal, face-to-face intimacy with the King. This is the supper that will have no end. This, naturally, leads to the practical question from doubting Thomas. Thomas, the pragmatist, the literalist, speaks for all of them. Lord, we do not know where you are going, and how can we know the way? He is still thinking in physical terms of geography, of roads. What's the address? What's the route? And Jesus' answer to this simple question is perhaps the most profound, exclusive, and all-encompassing claim he ever made.
He does not give them a map.
He gives them himself. I am the way, and the truth, and the life. He is the way, not a way. He is the only path to the Father. He is the road itself. He is the only access point. He is the truth, not a truth. He is the embodiment of all reality, the Logos who is truth. He is the only perfect revelation of God. And he is the life, not a life. He is the source of all Zoe, all eternal, divine life. He is the only resurrection. And then he makes the exclusive claim that forms the bedrock of his entire gospel. No one comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, the truth, and the life. He is the path, the destination, and the means of travel. This is the heart of the new covenant. It is a covenant not of rules, but of relationship with a person, and that person is the only way to God. The disciples are still struggling. Philip now speaks up. Lord, show us the Father, and it is sufficient for us. He is asking for a theophany, a vision, a burning bush. He is still looking for a sign. And Jesus' reply is a cry of almost anguished love. Have I been with you so long, and yet you have not known me, Philip? He who has seen me has seen the Father. So how can you say, show us the Father? This is the climax of the Incarnation. Jesus is claiming absolute, perfect, and total identity with God. I and my Father are one. I am in the Father, and the Father in me. He is saying, you have seen the Father. You've been watching him. When you saw me wash your feet, you saw the humility of the Father. When you saw me heal the sick, you saw the compassion of the Father. When you saw me weep at Lazarus's tomb, you saw the heart of the Father. I am the perfect representation of God. Look at me. He is the truth that Philip was asking about. He is the only vision of God we will ever get or ever need. And then, knowing he is leaving, he gives them the provision for how they will live this new covenant life. He has given them a new commandment to love, a new standard, as I have loved you, and a new covenant in my blood. But how can they possibly do it? They are weak, fearful, and about to abandon him. He gives them the promise of the Spirit. I will pray the Father, and he will give you another helper, the Spirit of truth. He is not going to leave them as orphans. He, the first helper, Paraclete, is leaving. But he will send another helper, one just like him, to come alongside them. This helper will dwell with you and will be in you. This is the power of the new covenant. The old covenant had the law outside on stone. The new covenant has the helper inside, writing the law of love on their hearts. This Spirit, he says, will teach you all things and bring to your remembrance all things that I said to you. He is the provision for their memory and their obedience. He is the engine of the new covenant life. Without him, the meal is just a memory. With him, the life of the meal becomes a present reality. He uses one final, beautiful metaphor to explain this new, Spirit-filled life. I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine-dresser. You are the branches. Israel was the old vine, the one God had brought out of Egypt, but it failed to produce fruit. He is now the true vine. He is the new Israel, and his disciples and we are the branches. And he gives them one command: abide in me.
This is the how.
How do we love as he loved? How do we live this new life? We abide. We remain connected to him. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. And then the devastating, liberating truth: apart from me, you can do nothing. Nothing. Not a little. Nothing. All our striving, all our effort to be great, all our arguing, it is nothing. The only way to live the new covenant life, to bear the fruit of love, is to be utterly, completely, and continually dependent on him, the vine. The Holy Spirit is the sap that flows from the vine to the branch, producing the fruit. The meal he has just given them, his body and blood, is the symbol of that very abiding. When we partake of the meal, we are remembering and recommitting to our total union and dependence on him, the true vine. And then, having taught them, having washed them, having fed them, he does one last thing for them.
He prays.
He turns his eyes from his little children and lifts them to his Father. This is the high priestly prayer. This is the Lord interceding for his new covenant people before he goes to die for them. He prays for himself that he would be glorified in the cross, so he can glorify the Father. He prays for his disciples, the men in that room. He prays for their protection. I do not pray that you should take them out of the world, but that you should keep them from the evil one. He knows they are being left as sheep among wolves. And he prays for their sanctification. Sanctify them by your truth. Your word is truth. He is setting them apart for his purpose, and the agent of that setting apart is the truth, the word, which he is. He is praying that they would be saturated in him. And then, in a moment that should shatter us with gratitude, his prayer expands. He looks past that room, past his own death and resurrection, past the disciples, and down the corridor of time. He prays for us. I do not pray for these alone, but also for those who will believe in me through their word. That is everyone who has ever come to faith by reading the Gospels, the epistles, the word of the apostles. He is praying for you. He is praying for me. He knew us in that room. And what is his one, passionate, repeated request for his future church, the church built on the new covenant? That they all may be one, as you, Father, are in me and I in you, that they also may be one in us.
Why?
That the world may believe that you sent me. His final prayer, The climax of his entire high priestly intercession is for the unity of his people. A unity based on the foot-washing love he commanded. A unity modeled on the Trinity itself. And a unity with a missional purpose, that our love for one another would be the final, compelling argument to a watching, broken world that Jesus truly is the King sent from God. The New Covenant meal is the symbol of that unity. The New Covenant command is the ethic of that unity. And the New Covenant prayer is the plea for that unity. The discourse is over. The prayer is finished. The old world is at its end. They sing a hymn. This is the Hallel, the traditional Passover psalms. They are psalms of praise and deliverance. Imagine the sound of that hymn. The last song. They are singing praise to God. On the eve of the murder of God. They are singing of deliverance, as their deliverer prepares to be bound in chains. This is the final, sovereign, joyful act of the New Covenant meal. It is a meal that begins with a desire and ends with a hymn. It is sealed, not in fear, but in praise. And with the echo of that hymn still in the air, Jesus stands. The intimacy of the meal is over. The agony of the sacrifice is about to begin. He speaks the final words that transition them from the upper room to the cross. Arise, let us go from here. They walk out of that room of light and covenant, and down into the Kidron Valley, and up into the Garden of Gethsemane, into the night, to meet the betrayer, to begin the suffering. The new covenant, sealed in the promise of the cup, is now about to be ratified in the reality of his blood. The Last Supper is over. The final sacrifice has begun, and so they arise. They leave the upper room, that small, fragile circle of light, that sanctuary of covenantal love, of washed feet and shared bread. They step out from the warmth, from the light of the candles, and into the night that had earlier swallowed their betrayer. They walk down the stone steps and into the sleeping city. They cross the Kidron Valley, a place of shadow, a ravine that, in times of judgment, was said to run red, a place where the idolatrous kings of old had been disposed of. It is the path of confrontation, the path from the holy city to the Mount of Olives. The Hallel, the Psalms of praise, are still an echo in their minds, a strange and jarring contrast to the cold, moonlit air that now holds the chill of death, the scent of fear. This is the physical transition from the institution of the covenant to the ratification of it. In the room, he had promised his blood in a cup of wine. Now, he walks with resolute, lonely, and sovereign purpose to the place where he will pour out that blood from his own veins. The Last Supper was the explanation. Gethsemane will be the decision. The supper was the promise. The cross will be the payment. The arise is not just a change in location. It is the deliberate, priestly act of the Lamb walking from the table of fellowship to the altar of sacrifice. They come to the place, Gethsemane, the oil press. A garden. It is a place of beautiful, tragic irony. The first Adam had lost humanity in a garden, a place of perfect fellowship, through an act of disobedience rooted in pride. The second Adam will now redeem humanity in a garden, a place of agonizing trial, through an act of obedience rooted in humility. He, the true vine, is in the garden of the oil press, and he himself is about to be crushed, pressed under the unfathomable weight of the sin of the world, until his very life flows out like oil. He tells the majority of the disciples, "Sit here while I go and pray over there." He is sequestering them, protecting them. But he takes his inner circle, Peter, James, and John, the same three who had witnessed his glory on the Mount of Transfiguration, and he now invites them to witness his agony in the garden. This is the other side of glory. The glory he spoke of in the upper room. Now the Son of Man is glorified, begins here. It begins with, "My soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even to death." This is not a metaphor. This is the physician's diagnosis. The sorrow itself, the spiritual weight of what he is about to become, is so crushing that it is physically killing him. He is dying of grief before the nails ever touch his skin. This is the cost of the new covenant beginning to be calculated in his own holy, human soul, and he gives them one simple command: the echo of the upper room. Stay here and watch with me. This is the call to abide. This is the call to fellowship in his suffering. He then goes a little farther, and he falls on his face. The king who had knelt to wash their feet now falls prostrate to petition his father. The Lord and teacher is now the agonizing son. And he prays, "O my Father." In Mark's account, it is the even more intimate Aramaic word he had taught them, Abba, Father. This is the word of total dependence, of perfect childhood trust. This is the relationship that defines the new covenant. And from this place of perfect intimacy, he makes his request, "If it is possible, let this cup pass from me." This cup. This is not the cup of wine he had just shared, the cup of the new covenant. This is its terrible counterpart. This is the other cup, the Old Testament cup of God's wrath, the cup of his fury which the prophets said he would make the guilty nations drink. It is the cup filled with the undiluted, righteous, and holy judgment of a perfect God against every act of rebellion, every prideful thought, every lustful glance, every murder, every lie, every sin ever committed by all of humanity. He, the only one who truly knows the holiness of God, is the only one who truly knows what sin deserves. And he, the sinless one, is recoiling in holy terror from the prospect of becoming that sin, of drinking that wrath, of being separated from his Father. But in this, the darkest moment of cosmic history, the hinge upon which all salvation turns, the prayer does not end there. Abba, Father, all things are possible for you. Take this cup away from me. And then, nevertheless, not what I will, but what you will. This is the single greatest sentence of obedience ever spoken. This is the true Last Supper. This is the true abiding. This is the true fulfillment of the new commandment of love. It is the perfect submission of the Son's human will to the Father's divine plan. This is the act of choice. The new covenant was not just sealed on the cross, it was affirmed and ratified right here, in the will of the Son. He is choosing this suffering. He is choosing to drink the cup for us. The old covenant was broken in a garden by the disobedient will of the first Adam, who said, "Not your will, but mine be done." The new covenant is established in a garden by the obedient will of the second Adam, who said, "Not my will, but yours be done." This is the act that saves the world. The cross is just the public execution of the decision that was made in this garden, in this prayer, and he rises from this cosmic battle of wills, strengthened by his decision, and he comes back to his little children, the ones he had just fed, the ones he had just washed, the ones he had prayed for. And he finds them asleep. He came to the disciples and found them sleeping. Peter, the one who, just hours before, had boasted, "Lord, I will lay down my life for your sake," cannot even stay awake for him. Jesus' words to him are a piercing, sorrowful rebuke. What? Could you not watch with me 1 hour? He is not just asking, "Couldn't you stay awake?" He is asking, "Couldn't you abide? Couldn't you fellowship? Couldn't you bear this burden with me for even a moment?" And then he gives the diagnosis, not just of them, but of all humanity. Watch and pray, lest you enter into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. This is the total failure of the old covenant man. This is the total failure of human self-effort. They promised they would die for him. They intended to. Their spirit was willing, but their flesh was weak. This is why the new covenant is necessary. It cannot be a covenant of human effort. It must be a covenant of his work, his blood, and his spirit. Their sleep is the final, pathetic proof that salvation must be all of grace. He goes away a second time and prays again, saying the same words. "O my Father, if this cup cannot pass away from me unless I drink it, your will be done." The resolution is hardening. The decision is firm. He will drink it. His agony deepens. The text tells us he was in agony and prayed more earnestly, and his sweat became like great drops of blood falling down to the ground. This is hematidrosis. The spiritual and psychological pressure is so immense that it is rupturing the capillaries in his skin. He is literally beginning to bleed from the weight of the cup he has chosen. The blood he promised in the cup of wine is now prefigured in the cup of agony. And the text tells us, an angel appeared to him from heaven, strengthening him. This is a staggering mystery. The creator of the angels is now so emptied of his glory, so crushed by his human sorrow, that he requires the ministry of his own creation to sustain him so that he can go on to save them. This is the kenosis, the emptying, of the king. This is the God who washes feet, the God who bleeds in prayer, the God who accepts help, all for us, and he comes back again. And he finds them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. This is the final condemnation of human strength.
They are not partners in this.
They are not co-redeemers. They are baggage. They are failures. They cannot abide. And he leaves them and goes away again and prays the third time, saying the same words. The battle is over. The will is settled. The cup is accepted. The new covenant is secured. He will be the sacrifice. He comes back to his disciples, but his tone is changed. There is no more pleading, could you not watch? There is only resolution and a kind of divine, sorrowful irony. Are you still sleeping and resting? Sleep on now and take your rest. It is as if he is saying, it doesn't matter anymore. The time for watching, the time for your help, is over. I have made the decision. The battle is fought and won. Alone. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is being betrayed into the hands of sinners. He is no longer the agonizing son. He is the sovereign king, announcing the schedule of his own redemption. Rise, let us be going. See, my betrayer is at hand. And as he speaks, the darkness of the night, that Judas entered now invades the garden. A multitude, with torches, lanterns, and weapons. It is the temple guard, the police of the Old Covenant priests. It is the kingdom of darkness, come to arrest the King of Light. And leading them is Judas, one of the 12, the man who reclined at the table, the man who ate the sop of honor, the man whose feet the Savior had washed, still damp from the basin. And he, having shared the intimate sign of the sop, now uses another sign of intimacy as his signal of betrayal. He has told the guard, whomever I kiss, he is the one. And he comes straight to Jesus. Greetings, Rabbi. And he kisses him. This is the antithesis of the new covenant. The new covenant is sealed with love that serves. The old man breaks the covenant with a feigned love that betrays. It is the vilest act in human history. And Jesus' response? He does not recoil. He receives the kiss. And he still speaks with a heartbreaking love. Friend, why have you come? He still calls him friend. He is living the new commandment of love. To his murderer, this moment of betrayal, as the hands of the soldiers reach out to grab him, the king asserts his divinity one last time. He steps forward. He is not a victim being captured. He is the priest, presenting himself. Whom are you seeking? He asks. They answer, Jesus of Nazareth. And Jesus speaks his name. Not just I am he. He speaks the divine name, the covenant name of God, the name from the burning bush. Ego iamai. I am. And in that instant, the full, unveiled power of his divinity, the glory he had prayed for in the upper room, flashes out of him. And the entire cohort of soldiers, temple guards, and Pharisees draws back and falls to the ground. They are prostrate. They are helpless. This is not an arrest. This is a demonstration. He is showing them and us that no one is taking his life. He is laying it down of his own accord. He has the power to destroy them all with a word. He is the I am. And he is choosing not to. He allows them to get up. He veils his power again. He asks again, whom are you seeking? He is controlling the entire scene. They answer again, this time, no doubt, with trembling voices, Jesus of Nazareth. And he replies, I have told you that I am. Therefore, if you seek me, let these go their way. This is stunning. In the very moment of his own arrest, in the depths of his own suffering, his primary concern is the protection of his disciples. He is negotiating with the wolves for the safety of his sheep. He is actively, consciously fulfilling his own high priestly prayer from the upper room. Holy Father, keep through your name those whom you have given me. While I was with them in the world, I kept them, and none of them is lost except the son of perdition. He is the good shepherd, literally giving his life for the sheep. He surrenders himself so that they can go free. This is the new covenant in action. This is substitution. But Peter, finally jarred awake by the violence, still doesn't get it. He still believes in the political kingdom. He still believes in the war horse. He sees his king being arrested, and he does what he thinks a great disciple should do. He draws a sword. He fights. He attacks Malchus, the servant of the high priest, and cuts off his ear. This is the kingdom of this world in action. It is violence. It is retaliation. It is the exact opposite of the foot-washing kingdom. It is the total misunderstanding of everything Jesus has just spent the entire night explaining. Peter is still trying to fight for a temporal kingdom, while the king is surrendering to establish an eternal one. Jesus' response is instant. He rebukes Peter. Put your sword into its sheath. And then he performs his final miracle before the cross. He touches the ear of his enemy and heals him. He repairs the damage done by his own disciple. He is still the healer. He is still the King of Peace. And he explains to Peter, with final, definitive clarity, "Shall I not drink the cup which my Father has given me?" He explicitly connects his surrender to his prayer in the garden. He is choosing the cup. He is rejecting the sword. He is healing his enemies, not killing them. This is the new covenant. This is his kingdom. It will not be built with the swords of men. It will be built with the blood of the Son of God. And then he adds, "Do you think that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he will provide me with more than 12 legions of angels?" He reaffirms his power. In the very moment he refuses to use it, he is in complete command. He is choosing the suffering. And at this moment, with the sword rebuked, the cup accepted, and the king in chains, the final failure of the flesh occurs. Then all the disciples forsook him and fled. All of them. The ones who ate the bread. The ones who drank the cup. The ones whose feet he washed. The ones he just saved from arrest. All of them fled. This is the total, utter collapse of human loyalty, human strength, and human faithfulness. The branches have all fallen off the vine. The little children have all become orphans by their own choice. And this proves, beyond all doubt, that the new covenant is not a bilateral agreement. It is not "I will if you will." It is a unilateral, unbreakable covenant of grace, secured by one man, for a people who abandoned him. He must tread the winepress alone. His blood alone is sufficient. Their flight is the dark velvet against which the diamond of his faithfulness shines infinitely bright. From the garden, he is led to the house of Caiaphas, the high priest. The new covenant is now on trial before the old covenant. The priest who is the sacrifice is judged by the corrupt priests who profit from the shadows. It is a sham trial. It is in the middle of the night, a violation of their own law. They seek false witnesses, but their lies don't even agree. The truth, "I am the truth," is silent before the liars. They cannot condemn him. Finally, Caiaphas, in desperation, puts him under oath. "I adjure you, by the living God, tell us if you are the Christ, the Son of God." He is forced to testify, and Jesus, who is silent before the lies, now speaks the truth. "It is as you said." A direct affirmation. "I am." And then he adds his own testimony, a prophecy of his ultimate victory. "Nevertheless, I say to you, hereafter you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the power and coming on the clouds of heaven." He is quoting the prophet Daniel. He is claiming absolute divinity. He is telling his judges that he will one day be their judge. This is the blasphemy they were looking for. The high priest tears his robes. He has spoken blasphemy. What further need do we have of witnesses? They condemn him. They spit in his face, the face that had looked on them with love in the upper room. They beat him. The king of the new covenant is condemned by the old for telling the truth about who he is. And while this is happening, outside, in the courtyard, the greatest of his disciples is fulfilling his own tragic prophecy. Peter, the rock, is warming himself by the enemy's fire. He is challenged. You also were with Jesus of Galilee. And Peter, the one who promised to die for him, denies it. I do not know what you are saying. A second challenge. A second, stronger denial, with an oath. I do not know the man. A third challenge, this time more insistent. Surely you are one of them. Your accent gives you away. And Peter begins to curse and to swear. I do not know the man. He swears by the name of the God he is denying. And immediately the rooster crows. The prophecy from the upper room is fulfilled. And in that instant, the Lord, being led as a prisoner from Caiaphas to Pilate, turns and looks at Peter. Just a look. Not of anger, not of condemnation, but a look of heartbreaking love. The look of the king who had washed his feet, knowing this would happen. The look of the Savior who was going to die for this very sin. And that look of new covenant grace breaks Peter's old covenant pride. And Peter remembered the word of the Lord, and he went out and wept bitterly. This is the bankruptcy of the flesh. This is the despair of self-effort. Peter, the rock, has crumbled into dust. He has no part with Jesus, not by his own strength. His only hope is the covenant that Jesus is securing. Without him, meanwhile, Judas, the other failure, sees that Jesus is condemned. He feels remorse. He tries to undo his deal. He brings the 30 pieces of silver back to the priests. I have sinned by betraying innocent blood. He confesses the truth to the wrong people. And the priests are cold. What is that to us? See to it yourself. The kingdom of darkness has no loyalty. It uses and discards. And Judas, in despair, throws the blood money, the price of the new covenant blood, onto the floor of the temple. The corrupt price is returned to the corrupt house. And he goes out and hangs himself. This is the end of the old covenant man. Peter weeps and is restored by grace. Judas despairs and is destroyed by guilt. This is the difference between failing in the new covenant and rejecting it entirely. Jesus is now dragged before Pilate, the Roman governor. The king of the Jews is on trial by the Gentile world. The priests will not enter the praetorium, so they will not be defiled, so they can eat the Passover. This is the ultimate hypocrisy. They are plotting murder, but they are worried about ritual purity. They are straining out a gnat and swallowing a camel. They are murdering the true Passover lamb so they can go eat the shadow. This is the blindness that rejected the king. Pilate, the pragmatist, confronts Jesus. Are you the king of the Jews? This is the political question. The triumphal entry has led to this. And Jesus, in his answer, defines the new covenant kingdom for the world. My kingdom is not of this world. This is the theology of the donkey. This is the theology of the towel. If my kingdom were of this world, my servants would fight so that I should not be delivered to the Jews. But now my kingdom is not from here. He is explicitly rejecting Peter's sword. He is rejecting the war horse. His kingdom, the one he inaugurated in the upper room, is a spiritual kingdom, a kingdom from another dimension. Pilate, confused, pushes, "So, you are a king then?" And Jesus affirms it. You say rightly that I am a king. For this cause I was born, and for this cause I have come into the world, that I should bear witness to the truth. He is the I am the truth from the upper room. He is the king of truth. And Pilate, the Roman cynic, the voice of the entire fallen, modern world, scoffs his famous reply. What is truth? The truth is standing in front of him, in chains, and he cannot see it. He washes his hands of the truth. He is the epitome of the blindness Jesus wept over. Pilate tries to release him. He knows he is innocent. He offers them the Passover custom. Whom do you want me to release to you? Barabbas, or Jesus, who is called Christ? Barabbas. The name means son of the Father. He is a revolutionary, a murderer, an insurrectionist. He is everything the crowd thought they were getting on Palm Sunday. He is the warhorse. He is the sword. Pilate offers them the choice: the false son of the Father, or the true son of the Father, the king of this world, or the king who is not of this world. And the crowd, the same crowd, screams their final choice. Away with this man, and release to us Barabbas. They choose the murderer over the healer. They choose the kingdom of violence over the kingdom of peace. They choose the shadow over the substance. They reject the new covenant king and choose the thief. And this is the substitution they did not see. They ask for a sinner to be released and the sinless one to be killed. They are unwittingly acting out the gospel. The guilty Barabbas, us, is set free so that the innocent Jesus can die in our place. Pilate washes his hands. The cowardice of the world. And he hands Jesus over. And the soldiers scourge him. They flog him, the body that was given for them. And then they mock him. They dress him in a purple robe, the royal color. They weave a crown of thorns, the curse of the garden, and press it onto his head. They put a reed in his hand, a mock scepter, and they kneel before him. Hail, King of the Jews! They spit on him. They strike him. This is the coronation of the new covenant king. This is the glory he spoke of in the upper room. The upside-down kingdom in its most horrifying, glorious reality. He is the king of suffering. He is the king who washes feet and bleeds for his enemies. He is led to Golgotha, the place of the skull. He carries his cross. He is nailed to it, lifted up. He is the Passover lamb, being slain at the exact hour that the Passover lambs are being slain in the temple just across the valley. The shadow and the substance collide perfectly. He is the bread broken. He is the wine poured out. The new covenant meal is now a bloody, public reality, and from the cross,
He speaks.
he speaks the new covenant. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. This is the new commandment of love, in its ultimate expression. This is loving, as I have loved you. He is interceding for his murderers. He is washing the feet of the Roman soldiers with his own blood. He speaks to the thief beside him, the Barabbas who didn't get released. Assuredly, I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise. The king is still dispensing his kingdom. He is still saving from his cross. The new covenant of grace is open to anyone who asks. He speaks his agony. My God, why have you forsaken me? This is the cup. This is the darkness of Gethsemane, realized. The Father turns his face as the Son becomes the sin of the world. He who is the light of the upper room is plunged into outer darkness so that we who fled into the night could be brought into his light. This is the cost of the remission of sins he promised in the cup. And finally, it is finished.
Tetelestai.
A Greek word, an accounting term. It means paid in full. The debt is canceled. The cup is drained. The wrath is satisfied. The sacrifice is complete. The new covenant is ratified. The blood he promised has been shed. The work is done. He bows his head and gives up his spirit. He lays down his life. And at that instant, the curtain in the temple, the massive veil that separated sinful man from the Holy of Holies, is torn in two from the top to the bottom.
This is not a human act.
This is God's act. God himself is tearing down the barrier. The blood of the new covenant, the body of the king, has opened the way. I am the way, directly into the presence of God. The old covenant, the temple, the shadows are finished. The new covenant, the way to the Father, is open for all. The meal in the upper room was the promise. The cross was the payment. But the resurrection is the proof. It is the Father's amen to the Son's it is finished. It is God the Father accepting the sacrifice. It is death itself, the final enemy, being conquered by the King of Life. The new covenant is not just a promise of forgiveness. It is a covenant of eternal life, proven by the empty tomb. He is the resurrection and the life. And where does he go after he rises? He returns to his little children. He finds them hiding in a room. And his first word to the men who had fled is peace. Shalom. The peace he promised them. the peace he purchased with his blood. He reestablishes the fellowship. He restores Peter. He proves that the new covenant is stronger than our failure.
And he eats with them again.
The meal is restored. The covenant is alive. And so, the Last Supper was not the last. It was the first. He promised them in that room, "I will not drink of this fruit of the vine from now on until that day, when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom." The Last Supper was the invitation to the marriage supper of the Lamb. It was the prelude to the eternal feast. The new covenant, sealed in the blood of the meal, points us forward to that day. The day when all the branches, all the little children, from every nation, tribe, and tongue, will be gathered in the Father's house, at the place he prepared for us. And he himself will be there. And he will gird himself with a towel one last time, and he will serve us. And we will see him face to face. And the intimacy of that upper room, the love of the foot washing, the fellowship of the bread and cup, will be our joy, our life, and our reality forever. The Last Supper is the promise that true fellowship with God has begun and will never, ever end.